Welcome to Well Read, a program about a little bit of this and a little bit of that at your Ames Public Library. Hi, I'm Jerry, Youth Services Manager at your library, and I'm here today to do and discuss and listen to what many of us do every day, and that's talking. But what does talking have to do with reading? And that's what we're going to find out in this episode, a special series about the early literacy skills, our fifth in that six-part series. Today, our talk expert is also going to talk about print awareness. And we'll find both of those things after I introduce Danielle. Hi, Danielle. How are you doing?
Good, good. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Can you tell us a little bit about who you are and how long you've been here? And
Well, my name is Danielle, and I have been here, I believe, 9 years.
Yeah, good call.
It seems like it. Oh my!
You're supposed to say it seems like just yesterday.
It was just yesterday. A lot has happened.
Yes.
I've got a 5-year-old, 6-year-old,
Oh my.
a 6-year-old, and a 2-year-old now since starting.
And we went from the old library to the temporary spot back to here,
again.
which it isn't really a new library anymore because we've been here almost 5 years. So
Still the new library.
it's still the new library.
Forever.
And we've been talking about those 6 early literacy skills and 5 early practices that whole time that you've been here. So you chose talk and print awareness. Why did you choose those two?
Well, I'm a talker. I like to talk. I talk a lot, which is good, I guess.
It says, research says that a talkative mother makes a very highly read, high vocabulary child. So
That's the hope.
there you are.
But I just find it's a really interesting idea to me. That's something that we all do, and a lot of people don't even think about it. You don't think to yourself, how can I prepare my infant for reading someday? I can talk to them.
Yeah, they don't really answer too much.
No.
At least not like we talk back and forth with each other, but they do answer.
That's true. They can gurgle, they can coo, and it's really important that when you are talking with a infant or a toddler, and this is the one that gets me, is you really give a pause when you're doing this, because not only is talking going to help them learn to read, but it's going to help them learn to have these conversations. And you should give them a space, even if they've never said a word. Give them a space, because then they know this is where I respond.
Yeah, this is my turn. So I always joke around because I too like to talk, only I don't really pause as much as I should. And so I pretend, or I count in my head. I guess I don't pretend to count. I count in my head silently, like up to 5 or 6 after I've said something, an open-ended question to any child, whether they're 3 weeks old or they're in school, or as an adult too. It works with them as well. And it's amazing how much they will respond if you give them that opportunity.
I can, with my 2-year-old, she is not a talker. Her brother is a talker, my 6-year-old, and I'm a talker, so I feel she kind of thinks
gets
that.
lost in the
Yep, I've had enough. Other people will answer for me. But it can be really stressful as the person asking the question to wait, but it's really good for them because they do eventually fill in.
Yeah, because their brain is processing that information. And I think, I know I'm guilty of this, that we just assume that our young infants, toddlers, and preschoolers and school-age children are processing the things in the same way, or what they're hearing in the same way that we do, and they're not.
No, I mean, there's so much going on in a little kid. Like, if you think about just, if you follow along behind one of them, just what they do and where they're going.
Yeah, can you imagine not know? Well, we all can do it. I mean, because we did once, but not knowing anything about the world and having all this exploration and then having it all be processed in your head that isn't, all that is growing and that type of thing. So, but to get back to the adult in that conversation. You mentioned that it kind of feels silly sometimes to do that, but why do you think how do you think parents can talk with their children and not feel silly?
Well, I think it's a good thing to do. Is, it's not bad to feel silly. I mean, what we do in our jobs, we do it quite often.
It goes unsaid with us.
But I think just reminding yourself that you are their teacher and you're teaching them to have this conversation, and it shouldn't make you feel silly. But there are other things you can do. You can ask a lot of, so as you said, open-ended questions that you don't know the answer to, so you're not...
That's a good little trick to remember. So you're not answering the question.
For them.
Like I am.
Yeah, exactly. But no, sometimes I lose words as we talk.
So we both have used the term open-ended questions. So can you explain what those are?
Definitely. So it's a question that has many answers. So, Jerry, what's your favorite favorite color?
My color's purple.
Yep, and that is not an open-ended question because there is one answer. Jerry, what do you think might happen today?
Oh, that could go forever.
Yep.
Anything from the filming this morning to the library opening to toddler time to meetings and talking with people that come into the library and then going home.
Eventually.
And sleeping again and waking up tomorrow and doing a similar day.
So, and a little kid could also do, when you're reading a book, for example, what do you think might happen next? There's no true answer because you don't know. You haven't turned the page yet. So your child could answer in a lot of different ways.
Right. So I happen to have a book that helps parents or helps the reader be able to have those open-ended questions. So if we look on this book, Who's Next? Guess Who? We have, let me get to the page. First came the elephant with his friend, the lovely ladybug. Guess who was next? And then you get that opportunity.
Yeah. So there are clues in the pages, and this book is specifically developed for that. But almost any book, especially a picture book, there are going to be clues and things to talk about because in a picture book, as you're reading it, you're teaching your child how stories go, beginning, middle, and end. And you're also teaching them those predictions. And if you give them those chances to talk about it, that's also part of when they grow up and learn to read. They are going to be able to it'll help them learn to read because they'll be able to know, well, it kind of would make sense if this kind of thing is happening next. So.
Well, I always tell the kids too that they can write the story just like the author did and have the answers, and your story may be better than what the author did. So it's a very interesting thing or discussion to have over a book. I chose this book. You have chosen this book that is not necessarily so blatantly, open to asking the question and getting an answer. So would you like to share how you would use this book and
Sure.
how you would talk about this book and use it?
So this book is 10 Pigs, An Epic Bath Adventure by Derek Anderson, a former Ames resident. You might recognize some of the characters or the art style from our bookmobile. But this book is great because there is a lot going on in the pictures. So if you look at just the cover, you can say, what is going to go on? And even if you don't say the epic bath adventure, there's a lot of bubbles and things. And so children might be able to say, oh, there's a bath, but then there's also a tuba and a sandcastle and a surfer. So there's a lot of options here to give kids things to talk about.
Well, and also, when you're talking about those, you could ask them what it is, and then they can develop that vocabulary as well. Because some children may not know what a sandcastle is and how you build it because they've lived in the Midwest all their lives.
It's so true.
and not next to water with a sandy beach. So we're going to go ahead and open up the book and tell me about how you would read along with this story.
So, 10 Pigs, an epic bath adventure. Oh my goodness, what is that pig doing? He looks like he's having some feelings. I wonder what he's thinking. And then he looks very excited to me. So just see what's on the page, talk about it. This one, there's not much text, so it does lend itself really well to a lot of discussion.
And because we don't have that child in front of us, those questions that you just asked would have been individual questions with a response.
That's the hope.
You know,
Count
that's
to
the hope,
5 or 6.
That there's that conversation turn between you and the child. So both sides of the brain are developing at the same time. So not only are they visually learning what's going on, but they're thinking about what's going on. And that is very important, as you said, for later on in their life. And so what's going on this page?
One pig. And oh, look at all those bubbles. Do you ever take bubble baths? And, you know, it's always good to try to connect what you see on the page with something in the child's life, if you can. It just adds a lot. It makes them, it goes into another one of our things, which is print motivation. So if a child can connect with a character, even if it's a character who's not like them, like a pig, it does share things with them. This pig likes bubble baths. I like bubble baths. We can talk about the last time you had a bubble bath, that kind of thing.
Or if they've had a bubble bath.
What does it mean to have a bubble bath?
Many people have. I do this because that's the shower.
Yes.
Some people have showers, and you can talk about which one you like best. I know I have one granddaughter that loves baths and not showers, and the other two love showers and not baths. So, I think that distinction of what they like and what they don't like comes very early in their life.
Definitely.
So, all right, let's go to the next page.
Oh, one very happy pig. Oh, this pig looks so happy. Why do you think he's happy? And what makes you happy?
Lots of good questions that we can.
This bathtub is perfect for just me and you. But along comes pig number 2. What do you think that pig is going to do? See, I don't know.
I do, because I've read the book. There's also, as you can tell, readers or listeners, that there are numbers that are happening.
Yep, so you can count along.
Count along with the animals, and each one has a different thing that they bring along with them. And as the story goes on,
that poor first pig, he just keeps getting, but for example, arg, says 5. Why would 5 say arg?
Yeah.
It's a pirate.
And then you could have a whole conversation about pirates and Pirate Day and
how do pirates talk?
There's our castle.
Yeah. Trying to, what would you think if sand got in your bathtub?
That wouldn't.
No, I don't think I would.
That would be a messy one. So then there's what's that.
And this is a good chance for some predictions. And then we turn the page and oh no, they're all running away. I wonder why, Jerry.
Because they're scared.
Oh no, I wonder, what are pigs scared of?
I don't know.
Let's see.
Could be lots of things.
No pigs, none. It's empty. One wolf. They are scared of wolves, and this is a good chance to talk about the 3 little pigs or Red Riding Hood.
Or the real wolves out in the real world.
Yeah, that's true. One very happy. Oh, look at that guy. He looks very happy. Pig! He's a pig, guys. Oh my goodness.
And then you could ask, well, did
Yeah.
you know that was happening? Or
Can always go back and look at the pictures again because there are some clues. The pig has a little zipper. The wolf has a zipper.
And there's clues about, each of the pigs coming too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to turn it on the back because it's pretty on the back too.
It
And
is.
the end pages give you all different types of, all different types of things as well, or ducks and what kind of ducks
Yep.
may be in there.
And they're kind of dressed like the pigs that we see eventually.
Right. So it's a very fun book, and it's one of those books that you don't have to read all the way through.
Nope.
Which actually all books you don't have to read all the way through. That conversation or doing a picture book walk or what's
Yep.
called dialogic reading is what's happening here, where you can ask those questions and help them figure things out. And it's all about the process, not about necessarily the end product. Although reading a book all the way through and enjoying it is another thing that is a very important part. So we put talk with print awareness. So let's do a little bit of information about what print awareness is.
So print awareness is basically how it sounds. It's being aware of print that you see in your world. And what's nice is when I was thinking about this and how I was going to connect them is that talking about print is what you do a lot of the time. So for example, say you are on a walk and you see a sign. And it can be a stop sign or something like that. But you can always point to it and say, look, it says stop. There's a word on that sign. That's how we know it is. And just pointing out words is a really good start.
And letters.
And letters. I was on a walk with my daughter yesterday. She led the way, and we ended up walking down a very snowy set of stairs. She was very tired last night. In fact, I don't know. I hope she's up right now. It's 10 to 8, so...
So when you're taking walks, that's always an opportunity to look around and talk about everything, even if it's a baby in a carriage or in a stroller, that talking about that, even though you're not getting a direct answer from a child, is still helping develop that brain interaction that's happening. The synapses is connecting. One of the games that I think of a lot with the print awareness is the alphabet game. Mm-hmm. When you're in a car and you go from place to place and look for like at the A, and the first one who sees the A gets a point. Then you get to go to the B and all that kind of stuff. And that is a remarkable game that shares that print awareness, because you're looking at billboards and signs and car license plates and everywhere. So
yeah, it is just, you can even do that if you're in a waiting room with a magazine, sit with your child, have them point out all, so say their name starts with J, can you point out all the J's on this page? Or as they grow older, can you find all the thes or the ands and so forth?
And just being aware of the world is basically what print awareness is. Actually, children, when they're first learning to read and you're reading the books and stuff, they really think that the pictures are what we're reading and not those letters that are on the page. So pointing those out is a very important part of that conversation to have. The prediction is really important. All those things will help them better learn to read and sound those sounds out, have better vocabulary. And there actually was a research study that did prove that if you're a talkative parent, your child will be talkative and have a higher vocabulary than someone that isn't necessarily a talkative parent. So, and talkative doesn't necessarily mean that you have to talk all the time, but just kind of describing what's going on in your world while you're walking, kind of narrating what you're doing. That's a great place to start. And then eventually a child will start talking with you, as long as you give them that 5 or 6 seconds to have that conversation turn which we also know that is a very important part of learning that reading skill and being a successful reader, which is what our goal is, right? Is to have successful readers.
Yep. Readers who love to read and find things they love.
Do you have any last words of wisdom to tell our folks out there in television land?
Just, you know, even if it makes you uncomfortable to talk to those babies and those younger ones, and even your older children, just talk to them. They'll thank you for it someday, maybe.
Yeah, they will.
Okay.
They will, because talking, of course, is very important to do. And talk will make a difference, and talking with a child and talking with each other and having that face-to-face contact is a very important part of learning to read and interacting in our world today. So talk with someone and talk with a child that you haven't talked with lately, or make a new conversation and enjoy a book or two and talk about that book too. And then read the story. So until then, happy talking and happy reading.